Hey, welcome everybody to the 40 Finance channel. Gonna have some fun with price targets today for a few stocks. And the premise for these price targets today is to try to beat the S&P 500 over the course of 2022. Now, if you missed the headline, the S&P 500 is expected to grow about 9% in 2022. I've seen ranges anywhere from the 7s and the 6s all the way up into the 11s and 12s. But for the sake of this video, we're trying to beat 9%. We'll pretend that this 9% is locked in stone for the S&P, and we'll try to find a few stocks that, in my opinion, have a reasonable chance of outperforming that 9% mark. All right, I got 6 picks for you today, so we're gonna hustle through this. Going to be using SeekingAlpha for our metrics. And if you're interested in learning more about SeekingAlpha, make sure you check out my affiliate link in the description. Gives you a significant discount on a 1-year subscription. All right, so we're leading off with Amazon. Amazon EPS forward right now is 41.47. Forward PE of 77.78. All right, looking ahead at their projections. For 2022, EPS estimate could jump as high as 52. But what I'm looking for right now with Amazon is the 79 number for 2023. By the time we're looking at 2023, Amazon should be done with their infrastructure and logistics spending that they put through, at least the vast portion of it. So I'm targeting 2023 as a time for their earnings to take a huge leg up. And most Wall Street analysts will be looking at those 2023 numbers for their forward projections by Q4 of 2022. So with Amazon right now, I've got a price target of $4,000 by the end of 2022. And quick call out here, when we get to the end of the video, I wrote all these down on a doc that we'll take a look at, but just know that for Amazon, I'm picking $4,000 by the end of this year. All right, next up in stocks that could beat the S&P, we have Adobe, EPS, $13.81, forward PE of 37. See what analysts are projecting for Adobe. They are in the midst of 2022 right now at a 1381 estimate, so not a lot of change there. But you see their fiscal year ends in November. Then we're going to start looking at 2023. So by the end of the year for Adobe, I can see a price of $570. All right, next up, I got Netflix, $10.71, forward PE just under 50. And if you've watched the channel for a while, you know I think Netflix is an underdog in the world of the stock market. But let's get down to the facts and figures. All right, let's take a look at the earnings numbers. This year, $10.71 if they hit. Looking to add about $3 per share to that as it stands right now in January. And then next year, they're taking a whole nother leg up in their earnings growth, which is great to see. Now, from where I stand on Netflix, I think this is a $600 stock by the end of the year. And these numbers, by the way, while I'm saying them very quickly on the video, I've actually done a little bit of EPS math on the back end, so I'm just sparing you the math, getting straight to the point. I'm saying 600 on Netflix. All right, next up I've got Visa, EPS $7 a share, PE of 30, coming in today at $214. Visa is one of my top holdings. It's been a tough 6-month stretch for Visa, but I see brighter things in the future. All right, speaking of the future, they also have a slightly different fiscal calendar. You can see that it ends in September of 2022. So this $7.04 EPS estimate will actually turn over around September, and we'll be looking at 2023 where they're coming in at $8.42. Now for Visa, I don't see a moonshot of any kind. I have a relatively conservative price target of $238 on it. However, that is just enough to beat the S&P forecast, at least from where it stands today. All right, next up we've got Etsy, projected revenue, projected earnings of $362, forward PE of 46. Let's see what the future looks like. And looking at 2021, okay, so you got the 362 projected for this year. Next year you had 12.5% to 407, and then 513 the year after, which is actually even more growth than they'll likely see here in 2022. So with Etsy, I'll say you definitely want to pick your spots. It is on a downward cycle right now, sitting about 160. But based on my valuation calculations, I think this is an easy $200 stock by the end of 2022. All right, I'll throw one small cap in here just for fun. Palantir, currently at 1584, definitely in the midst of a meltdown. Got an EPS, forward EPS of 15 cents, which makes your forward PE just over 100. Let's just assume that Palantir keeps melting down ever so slightly. And I think a forward PE of 100 for a company like this in its earlier stages is totally fine. So if we do hit that 15 cents projection, multiply that by 100, you get your $15 a share. So I'll argue Palantir is fairly close to fairly valued. It just depends on if you want to pay that forward PE of 100. Now, I personally expect Palantir to outperform their EPS estimates, perhaps not in 2021, but it wouldn't surprise me to see some outperformance on this 2022 number, and then certainly into 2023. So I'll make it really simple with Palantir. It's not a moonshot stock over the next 12 months. However, I think $20 by the time we get to December of 2022 is well within the cards. All right, so how did the list shake out? Amazon is about $3,200 right now. My price target of $4,000 by Q4. This is so important that we are talking in all these cases of stocks at the end of 2022. So I say 4,000 by the end of 2022. That's an upside of 25%. Our target is to beat the S&P, which is projected at 9%. How about Adobe? Currently at 515. Price target of 570 plus 11%. Then we got Netflix at 515. I say 590, 600 maybe, but let's just say 590. That's plus 14.5%. Next up is Visa, barely over the line, okay? So $215 today. My price target's 238, 10.6%. Not far over the S&P, but it is 1.6% better than the projection of 9. Okay, next is Etsy, currently 161. I say 200 by the end of the year, plus 24%. And then lastly, more or less for fun, but Palantir at 1571. I have a price target of 20. That would be a plus 25% run for Palantir before the close of 2022. All right, lastly, I'll give you some bonus dart throws here as far as stuff that I've been looking at and things that I feel relatively confident in, but do your own research. Zillow's currently at 52, all right? I think this stock goes to 75 by the start of 2023 based on early EPS projections of about $3 a share in fiscal year 2023. So that's my take on Zillow. You can get in, but you probably need to write down, do not touch for 24 months if you want to get in on that one. All right, DraftKings taking an absolute beating, and the worst part about the beating is that football season doesn't begin again until, September of next year. I do think DraftKings gets back to the $50 level. Unfortunately, it won't be based on fundamentals. This is a momentum stock, and it is based on revenue. I think they hit their revenue numbers and do some, throw in some surprises maybe that we didn't expect to come. This is a much, much more loose price projection than anything else I have on this board. All right, next, if you wanted to ask me about fair valuation today, if you're looking at Shopify, I say buy under 900. If that day comes, buy Melly under 800. Roku under 150, who, by the way, is probably the closest. I think Roku is at 160-ish today. Melly's up in the 1100 range, and Shopify is likely still over 1,000. So I didn't do forward price targets on those stocks, even though they're very popular. They're much harder to project. However, in my opinion, those are about the starting points you're going to need for those 3 stocks if we continue to see the market melt down. You're going to need to start at Shopify under 900 to try to beat out the S&P for 2022. So that's a 1-year outlook, right? I'm not talking about 10 years of Shopify, but those are the prices that I would entertain if it was my dollar. All right, guys, so those are 6 of my picks to beat the S&P 500 for 2022. Also gave you a few dart throws there at the bottom. Let me know what you think in the comments and what your picks are for 2022. Don't forget to check out the Seeking Alpha link in the description. And as always, please like the video, share with your friends, all the things. We will see you on the next one.